Hi guys, welcome to Iowa City Mom's Vlog Around Town. We are here at the Kaleidoscope Gift Shop and Safety Store at the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. It is gorgeous in here, and we have Pam who's going to introduce herself and give us a little tour, and then we're going to take questions. So if you have questions, be sure to start leaving them in the comments. Anything for the safety store, our safety experts, our car seat experts, go ahead and drop those and we will ask them when we get over there. So Pam's going to go ahead and introduce herself.
So as Sarah said, I'm Pam Hoogerwerf. I direct the injury prevention and community outreach in the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. It's great to have you here tonight. We're happy to show off one of the really coolest things about our new children's hospital. And as Sarah mentioned, our store is called the Kaleidoscope, and Sarah and I happen to be standing by one of the really fun attractions in our store that kids love to come in and view and kind of take their mind off what might be going up on floors above. So it's definitely a destination for kids.
The entire, if you have not been to the new children's hospital, it is, I would say, more like a children's museum walking in than the cold hospital feel that you might get somewhere else. So it's just a wonderful place to be. Very happy, bright colors, especially in here. Pam's going to show us around.
Right. So we can start this way. So we have a collaborative partnership with the gift shop, actually. So again, we're the gift shop and safety store. So we're going to start on the gift shop side. And I think the really neat thing about this part of our store is it's taken the place of the toy stores that have seemed to have disappeared from our community, unfortunately. And so our buyers have done a fantastic job of really bringing in some neat educational toys and some fun toys and some neat apparel, really unique things that you just can't find in our community. So it's definitely worth a stop. I know we have a lot of people come in here that it's a great place to birthday shop for kids. And
I was just thinking that.
Yes, exactly. So,
and it looks like you have things for all ages.
We do.
Scroll around here and kind of show people what you have.
That's certainly important because at our hospital, you know, we treat kids from, 18 and under, and so we certainly want to have something for everybody.
And high quality items.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which are really challenging to find.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
As parents, we certainly know that.
Right. Yes.
Awesome.
So this has been this is definitely a fun place for kids to come and just kind of take their minds off things and for families to see other really neat, unique options to purchase as far as gifts and toys.
And it's totally open to the public, so you don't need to be a patient here.
Absolutely
you can
not.
stop by anytime.
No,
what are your hours?
And our hours, we're open Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. And then on Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. A caveat I should tell you is that during home football games, we have to be closed. You know, it's obviously a security issue. So when there is a home football game on Saturday, we're only open to internal patients and families. We can't let outside in.
I will say though, aside from the football, it was very easy to get in here. If you are maybe new to town and you don't head over this way very often, it's very, very easy to get in here to the gift shop and safety store. So your parking ramp 2 is where you're going to go. It's one of the new ramps. It's underground, really cool, and it comes right up to where you need to be.
Right,
So,
we're on the main lobby of the Children's Hospital. They call it level 1, and a neat little tidbit is that you do get 30 minutes of free parking in our ramp. So sometimes you can, get in here and get out.
Even better.
And
gotta
for
love
free parking.
in Iowa City.
Right.
It's hard to find.
That's hard to
find
find.
for sure. So
Perfect.
yes, yeah. So we can kind of travel over to the safety store side of the store for a quick little tour and point out some of the things. So the safety store itself, what it offers, the uniqueness of it is, first off, we're mainly both an educational and awareness type of program. So we're able to offer, we're all injury prevention experts, so we're really able to help families with needs assessment. So if a family comes in here and they've got a particular staircase, a unique staircase that they need a particular kind of gate that's really going to serve the purpose of keeping the child safe from a stairway, we're able to provide that assistance. And yeah, absolutely. And so that's the kind of thing. Or if there's a bike helmet need, instead of just trying to grab off a rack and hoping that it's the right size and maybe not actually putting it on the head the correct way, we give you the full gamut of making sure it's the right size. We correct the fit, and we talk to the child about how to properly wear their helmet. So that's the kind of things that
I think
important.
that's the best part.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, I think that's the best part is when you're buying things like that are hopefully helping your children prevent injury. A lot of times you're buying them from a retailer that the people people may not know all the information or may not know the best gate for your situation in your home. And so that, I think, to me, is just invaluable to have.
And the other thing we like to point out is we certainly don't want prices to be barriers to our family, and I'll point out a couple of products that we carry that probably will hit home to your audience, that they'll realize that we do definitely keep our prices low so that families can afford these products that hopefully prevent an injury altogether, or certainly the significance of an injury.
Absolutely,
So,
we always appreciate that.
Absolutely. So let's kind of walk in between this kaleidoscope here and some of the products as we get back here. And we work with our pediatric trauma and emergency medicine folks to see how our children are getting injured in our state especially, and then stock some of our inventory related to that.
Oh wow, so it's really customized to what you know we need here in our city.
Yeah, as in most of the programs here at the university and in the hospital, there's a definite research behind a lot of it. So yeah, absolutely. Data is important to us. So one of the products I wanted to point out right out is I'm sure that most of your audience is very familiar with, first off, Safe Sleep. Safe Sleep is a very important program here, and so we carry several different types of halo swaddles, which are very popular. So we sell these halo swaddles for $12.
Oh wow!
And so that usually points out. I'm not, I won't. Quote what another retail component store, but it's definitely it's definitely less money.
I've purchased them recently, and they are not $12 other places.
Right. Yeah. So that's one of our products that we sell.
And look at all the cute options.
Yeah, absolutely. We carry in different fabrics and certainly several options.
And the lightweight ones and the heavy ones, and that's amazing.
Exactly.
That alone is worth the trip.
Absolutely. Yes. And then over here, we have it categorized almost by kind of a room in the house. So, bathroom safety, kitchen safety, electrical safety. That's, we try to make it very simple for families to, look at what they're after, and then certainly use our expertise to kind of hone in on what it is. And so the bike helmet, I mentioned that earlier. Our bike helmets, just for instance, we sell these for $9. And what's unique about our bike helmets is it's one of the few products in the store that we actually are able to accommodate a little child all the way up to an adult. So we do sell these helmets in adult sizes too, and again, the price for those are $9.
$9.
Sure. Yeah, it is. It is definitely hard. So we
and now I'm realizing how much I've overpaid for
my
bike helmets.
Come to the
That's discouraging.
Right, exactly. That's why
Next
you're welcome
time.
here.
That's right.
And then, car seats are obviously a really big, important part, because it's the first scariest thing you're going to do after you have a baby is you're going to put this baby in a vehicle and
drive 5 miles an hour.
Yes, exactly, and drive home. So we have a really great resources here, and many of us that are certified in child passenger safety that are absolutely happy to help you, guide you in a way that's, picking out the seat that's really going to work the best for you, and it's all about the owner of the seat feeling very comfortable with their seat, and that's when that's only going to escalate the whole safety part of it. So we carry a lot of different brands of car seats, and we'll probably get to some questions related to car seat safety. And we can special order. We don't have an unlimited amount of storage in our store, but we special order many brands of car seats. And the other unique thing is certainly once we guide you and try to help you pick the correct seat. But then we're also, once the seat comes in, we're happy to go out and actually install the seat in your vehicle.
That's amazing.
Because that's another important part is we want to educate you.
It's so intimidating.
It really can be, and it's we live in a very highly educated community, and it's amazing when we do all of our child passenger safety events, we still see about an 80% misuse in seats, and it can be the silliest thing, but it's there's always something it seems to think about when
that's the scary part of being a parent, when we
Right.
think we're doing the right thing.
Right.
And especially a new mom, because we've obviously never installed a car seat before, so it only seems natural that we would ask an expert, but a lot of times we aren't doing that, or it's not available.
Sure.
So coming here, getting it at a lower price, and getting someone that knows what they're talking about is just so worth it. So worth it.
Right. And one other service I should mention too is that you don't have to purchase your car seat here from the store. If you have a need, if you need some advice and some education on installing a seat and need help, you can contact our store, and we're happy to come out and help with any seat. So it doesn't mean that you just have to purchase it here at the store. And one other product I think is just fun to to point out, because I think, again, your audience is probably pretty aware. If you were all Summer Olympic fans like I was, and if you watched Michael Phelps, one of my favorite swimmers, his adorable baby was featured in the audience quite a bit during his races. And there's the company that's called M's for Bubs, and this is actually a picture of Michael's little baby. And so a lot of times, especially in this area, we have to think about protecting hearing in kids. And so, we've got events like, football games or inside Carver Arena, the
even
fireworks on July 4th, anything like that. So this is the company that Michael Phelps is involved with as far as the M's for Bubs. But this is a product that is kind of fun to think about that we have
Good
here.
to know.
So,
we did have a question about baby monitors. Is that something that you carry?
We absolutely do. Yes, we carry a couple of different types of baby monitors. Again, we have some opportunity to special order others, so we always ask people, we're happy to show you what we carry, but then if there's another one that somebody's heard about, we can check and see if that's a product we can get.
Great. Good to know. Perfect. Well, I know we have some other experts to meet tonight. Let's get settled in and get some questions answered.
Fantastic.
Bear with us as we shuffle here.
I think
I should flip it.
Yes. We can do this if you want. How's that?
I want to make sure you can all see us.
You're all there.
Yay!
Let's get a little closer. Anybody watching from home, these are our safety store experts. If you have any questions related to child safety or car seat safety, or I guess that covers it.
Yeah, I think we'll
Please comment them. Safety, yes.
We're going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, so maybe when you hear their area of expertise, maybe that will also jog some more questions. But go ahead and start leaving them in the comments as they introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Lauren O'Donnell, and I'm the safety store manager. I'm the coordinator for our injury prevention programs here at the Children's Hospital. So I'm involved with our bike safety program, our ATV safety program, and also the safety store, obviously. I've worked here since 2012, so I have 5 years of experience.
Oh, they know you.
Yeah.
Good evening. I hope all the kids are sleeping and you're all sitting on a couch and watching this with your feet up for a little bit. My name's Crystal Weegan. I'm a nurse, actually. I'm the pediatric trauma nurse coordinator. So when Pam mentioned that she works with the EMS or the ED and the trauma group, that's kind of, those are my kids in our group. And so I see a lot of people that maybe didn't quite use their injury or their safety equipment quite right, or perhaps they didn't use any at all. So that's why I really get involved in this stuff. I'm also a child passenger safety tech like these ladies, and have a little extra training in kids with special healthcare needs. So if you've got a question with something a little unique, shoot it out. We'll see what we can do.
Awesome. Do you guys want to start by telling us a little bit about, well, you already covered this. 1 second.
I'll go ahead and just the last couple questions that have come in.
Let's do that.
What should we look for in a bike helmet? And is there a way to cover an outlet while something is plugged in? So bike helmet, what do you look for? And then the outlets.
For bike helmets, I'll take that one. It all depends on the kiddo's circumference of his or her head. That's a great start. It also helps to have the kiddo here in person. Some kids may have like a 54 centimeter circumference of their head, but their head's like this wide. Right. So it kind of helps to have them here in person. Our adult helmets that we have small through extra large, have a circumference dial, so we can put it on the head and tighten it down to the perfect tightness on that head.
Awesome.
So another thing with helmets is we want to make sure those straps are in a V, and that the chin strap is tight enough that you can only get 2 fingers between the strap and the chin. So, and then also 2 fingers above the eyebrow. That's what we look for.
I think that's the most common misuse that I see are kids that are wearing their helmets, and they probably fit great at first, but then when they're riding, they're like back here like this. If you've all, I'm sure, seen that. So then if you do unfortunately have a crash or something, if you go over your handlebars or hit there, then your forehead or the front part of your head isn't really protected at all.
That's a great tip.
Concentrating on that flat helmet is
And
important.
if they're in a crash, they should probably come in and get it checked out, or should they just go ahead and get a new
If
one?
there's any damage to the helmet, for sure, whether it's inside or outside, they should definitely purchase a new helmet. And with our pricing in here, that doesn't seem to be such a strain on people's budgets. The other thing is that we're in good old Iowa, and most bike helmets are kept in garages. So places that aren't, controlled as far as climate controlled. So they're experiencing real cold in the winter and heat in the summer. And so we usually say, it's kind of funny, you hear this about car seats too, as far as the life of a car seat, but we usually say a helmet has about a 6-year lifespan. And that's as long as it's still fitting you and that your head's, your head continues to grow as a child. So it's always something to check. But once you have one and it fits and your head's not going to grow anymore, we tell you about a 5 or 6 year lifespan. As far as the electrical question is, yes, we have a couple of different products that we carry in the store that protect the entire outlet.
Wonderful. We also had a question. What are some of the most common ways car seats are incorrectly installed? That's probably a loaded question.
That is. Ooh, how long do y'all have? No. I think the most common misuse is, if you talk about the whole seat in itself, is too loose of installation in the car. So the car seat's moving all over. We've had a fair amount of kids that even come in where, when you're really busy and you move it over to a new car, and then you forget to latch it in. And then if there's a crash or something like that. The next thing, a lot of it's related to tightness. The next thing we see a lot are the straps are too loose. So kids are either figuring out how to get out of them, or they're wearing a big coat, and so you don't realize it, but those straps are really loose, and if you have any sort of crash, then all that coat smushes, and then the kid can come out of the straps. Probably the most common.
Yeah.
One of the most common ones.
I've also seen, there's 2 installation methods with a car seat. So you can either install with a vehicle belt, or you can install with a latch if your car is equipped with that. A lot of people think using both at the same time is safer, and actually only one way to install is the best. Only one at a time. So you can, whatever is best for you when you're installing it, whether it's the latch or the seatbelt, just make sure you're only using one at a time.
That's a great tip.
Yeah,
This makes me very excited for your event tomorrow. Do you want to tell us about your free car seat checks tomorrow?
Absolutely. So once a year, right around Child Passenger Safety Week, which happens to be next week, we put on an event where we offer the opportunity for families to drive up, and we help install seats or check the seat if it is installed, whether you come with a new seat. It's nice to have the child also in attendance so that we can certainly see the child in the seat, but sometimes we have some expectant parents that are just showing up for the first time and want to get that one of the things checked off their list of things to do. And so it's being held tomorrow night at between 5 and 7:30 p.m. It's at one of our newest UI healthcare sites, which is on Dodge Street, which if you're coming from out of town, Dodge Street is one of the I-80 exits. And there's a brand new, beautiful Hy-Vee that's not too old. If you get to the Hy-Vee, you've passed the healthcare, the new healthcare building. There will be signs showing the way, but it's a great event to come. We've got a lot of experts that will be in attendance. And
that new building is very easy to find.
It is.
If you take, like you said, if you take the Dodge Street exit on 80, you're going to see it when you come up. You're going to see it.
Absolutely. And it looks like our weather's going to be gorgeous. And so, we'd like as many people to show up and get that education and expertise.
Wonderful.
So, and please bring your child.
That was my question. So drive your vehicle with your car seat.
And bring
your children in their car seats.
Yes. And it's free.
It is absolutely free.
Wonderful. Okay, 5 to 7?
5 to 7:30.
7:30, even better. Perfect.
Thank you for offering that, by
that's
the way.
huge.
Of course. Yeah.
We'll see you there. We'll be there. We had another couple questions about car seats. This is a good one. Do you recommend using the same car seat with multiple kids if there was no accidents and it's not expired, or buying a new car seat with each child?
You can absolutely use it for multiple children, as long as it's just exactly like they said, as long as it's not expired and hasn't been in a crash. Sometimes it's hard to remember that expiration date after you've put a few kids through it, so just check it when the new baby's on the way. And absolutely.
Yeah.
No
Perfect.
problem.
And those are found on stickers on the actual seat?
It's actually, it's on the seat or it's on the base. If it's an infant-only car seat, it's oftentimes on the base. And a lot of people ask about why does a car seat expire? They think it's just kind of a marketing gimmick, if you will. And actually, back to the bike helmet, to be very honest with you, example is that, they're in our cars where they have extreme cold and extreme heat. And, it's truly research based, and there's, a breaking down of components. And so it's really important to pay attention to that expiration date. And the expiration date, sometimes it doesn't say expiration date. So what you have to look at is the manufacturing date, and then it's 6 years
Do the math.
from that manufacturing date.
There's a question that we were actually talking about before we came on here, which is how do you deal with kids who can get out of their car seats while you're driving, which is a problem I have had, which is what we were talking about.
Absolutely.
If you guys could share any tips on that.
Yeah. Crystal.
I'll take that one because I help a lot of people with this. The most important thing to do is try to keep all those straps on. And I have been part of many kids that like to, they like come out like this, like little fish.
Yep.
So the most important thing to do, really tighten up those straps. Get them so, because if they're tight, they can't get their arms through. So they might squirm and holler at you a little bit, but if it's that tight every time, eventually they'll get used to it. Really nice and tight. The chest clip, also make sure it's nice and high. The higher it is, the harder it can be for them to get enough pressure to get it down. Obviously not to their neck, kind of like armpit
Right, but
level.
I think the appropriate height of that is a lot higher than a lot of us
Yes.
think, myself included.
I always call it kind of the pit clip. It should
Yeah.
be even with the armpits.
Okay,
So
that's good to know.
up there is a good spot. The other thing is behavior modification. We talked about that. So every time they get out, you pull over to the side of the road. Can't go any farther till we get back in. And it is really hard to do.
It is very hard.
It's really hard to do, but sometimes it's the only way to do it. The other things, if you've got a kid that's really, really challenging and you can't think of anything else, is any sort of distraction thing. So if they're old enough to have some sort of fidget type item, obviously we don't want that with the young kids, but little that can do something like that. With a little kid, do they have something that they would just like to touch, play with? Is it a stuffed animal? Is it all sorts of different things like that? Anything to take their mind off the fact that they don't want to be in that car seat.
Good to know.
And one more thing, if you really have somebody that's older and they're really getting out and it's a big problem, that would be another reason to even come in here and talk to the safety store. There are special seats on the market that can help, but they're kind of at a long-term goal.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, we had a kind of follow-up question, a very similar one. Is there a product or something like a clicker that can go on the latch part of the car seat? Or is it only a full car seat for those scenarios to help?
So, like to cover
things
so
that they can't get at it. There are some off-market products that are out there.
And are those safe?
I don't
to
recommend
cover it.
those because they haven't been crash tested with the seat.
Got it.
So you can go to Amazon and Google and you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff. But we don't want anything in our car seats that haven't been utilized with the car seat. So some are a whole different car seat. There are some different vest type options. There's lots of things out there. But we like to go with the least invasive first. So we'll try the behavior
So
modification.
come in here and chat with you guys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I have a question that hasn't been asked, but I'm curious because I kind of forget, and it's getting to be winter again. Coats in car seats. Not allowed. How big of a coat is okay? Because it gets so cold. I hate to take my daughter's coat completely off.
Right.
What do you recommend for newborns? What do you recommend for older children? What's the best way
That's a
to
great question.
stay safe but stay warm?
Absolutely. Want to take it?
Sure. I would say a light fleece is about as thick
Okay.
as you want to go. If you go any thicker, you're getting too much room between the harness strap and the body of the kiddo. One of the best modifications I've seen out there is taking the coat off and then strapping the kid in without their coat and then putting the coat on backwards. So the back of the coat is on their stomach and their arms are through the holes. That keeps kiddos still kind of warm. But yeah, I would say fleece is about the thickest you want to go for material.
Good to know.
And then as far as infants are concerned, we don't, again, as Crystal mentioned, we don't want any type of product that interferes with how the seat is to react
So the blankets and things that
so-
cover up the car seat.
Right, so what you can do, we do anything that goes over, so as long as it's not in between child straps and that sort of thing. So the wraps that go up and over is a great way to transport your child out
Perfect.
to, in the cold.
Yeah, you see all those adorable
Maybe.
bodysuits. Be like,
Yeah.
they can't even wear those.
Right.
They're going anywhere.
Right.
So.
The other thing you see a lot is that the one that kind of lays, it's kind of fleecy and it lays in the car seat. The straps come through it. Then you put the kiddo
That's
in.
what I was going to ask about.
Yeah. So those we don't recommend because there's something now between
They
the
take-
straps and the baby.
Got it.
So the ones over the top are great, but those ones that are full encompassing, not as good.
Good to know. Great. I think we got those questions.
I think they're still talking about the expiration date of the car seats.
Okay. So there too. 1 second here. Let me catch up on some of these that were asked.
Yeah, if you guys have
prior
any
to us.
questions, keep commenting. There's my finger scrolling. Talk about pillows. Pillows in bed with kiddos.
It's a no-no.
Pillows and
Especially-
blankets, I'm assuming. is-
Absolutely. I mean, it's so different than when I raised my kids. I of course wanted the most luxurious, beautiful comforter and bumper pads and all that. And again, research based. These aren't just mean people deciding that they're gonna, change the world and make it really hard to do it. It's all very much research based. And so we want the most sterile, stark environment for your newborn up until at least 6 to 8 months of age, till they're definitely more mobile and able to roll around and move their face away from things if it gets in front. So definitely no pillows, no bumper pads, no comforters. The binky and the baby in a halo swaddle is perfect.
My son is going to be 2 in December. And I still don't put a pillow in there. He does have a blanket,
Yeah.
but I don't put a pillow. I was wondering the other day, actually, about, for their neck, should they have a pillow at that age since it's technically safe now for him to have one, or does it matter that he doesn't have one?
So I'm gonna.
Because he sleeps fine without it.
Kids have big Charlie Brown bobbleheads. That's what I call them. So they've got like this bowling
Yeah,
ball
he
head.
definitely has that.
They got this bowling ball head on a little toothpick neck, right? So kids up until almost the age of 10 to 12, like if we all lay down on our back, our head
Right.
is back a little bit because our occiput isn't as big. That's the back part of your head. Kids are exactly the opposite. Their heads are pushed up forward because they've got that big back of their head. So they don't really need a pillow because
Okay.
their head is big enough.
Okay.
We use it because it makes it a little bit more comfortable for us. Now, everybody sleeps differently and needs different things.
Right.
But really, until kids get older, their heads lay just fine
Okay.
without a pillow.
Oh, that's good to know.
As long as he's comfortable.
He is. He
Yeah.
sleeps all night, so
Yeah,
I'm
so he must
assuming
be
he
okay.
is.
Right.
We had a couple more questions, excuse me, about car seat safety. One is, at what age or size should you switch your child to forward facing? We seem to see those recommendations constantly changing.
Right.
So I'm gonna take this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I love crash
It's
diving.
okay.
Yeah.
Just
So
to tag on that
Yeah.
one too, I think someone asked about sitting in the front seat.
Okay.
Kids.
Yes.
Let's talk about flipping around first.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing statistic, but it really is true, is that rear facing, you're 500% safer than forward facing.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't understand why that is, or think we're just being mean to kids and don't want them to look out the window. The reason is, if you have a frontal crash and you're facing backwards, now that whole seat is letting your head and neck ride down that crash together. They're taking those forces away altogether. If I'm forward facing and I have myself held back like this by my 5-point harness and I take a crash, I'm taking all of those crash forces on now my bowling ball head and my toothpick neck, right? So like this. And kids have really flexible bones. And so what happens is that spinal column can stretch, but then you end up with a spinal cord injury, because although the column can stretch, the cord itself can't. So just staying rear facing is so important. So the American Academy of Pediatrics says to stay rear facing until 2, or the upper weight limit of your rear facing seat.
Yeah, we wish I think down the line we're going to see our Iowa law change. Our Iowa law, which I don't even like to quote very often, but our Iowa law is 20 pounds in 1 year of age, which is not near enough from the research that's based on it. So we definitely go with the American Academy of Pediatrics guidance on that one.
2 years.
Up to at least 2 years of age. And some people, the one comment we get a lot about that is, oh, they look so uncomfortable. Their legs are all, bent up like this. And our answer to that, with help from our clinical people on our team, is that, God forbid there's a bad enough crash. They're going to fix a broken leg or a broken hip or a dislocated hip. But we can't fix, a broken spinal cord or a brain injury related to that. So.
And from experience, we've been having this happen for several years now. I've not seen any increase in lower extremity injuries from kids being rear facing.
Okay.
So it seems.
Is there a point where it is not safe to be rear facing?
If you're over the weight limit of your seat.
Just depending on your seat.
Yep.
Okay.
If your seat you're over the weight limit, or the height. So your head rear facing needs to be an inch below the back of your seat. So if the head is above, or if you're too heavy for the seat, then you need to switch it.
There's some really impressive car seats out there now. I know
Oh,
the
yeah.
one my daughter's in, I think she'll be sitting in it until 8th grade because it can, she's tiny,
Yeah.
but
Your
it
face
can
till
hold,
50 pounds.
yeah,
Right.
it does, truly.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
That she's 3 and we just turned her around.
Yeah.
But she's not even near the weight limit
Right.
that she would need to be.
Right. Sure.
So in that case, if she's not close to the weight limit, would she still be better off being
Should
rear
you
facing?
turn her around?
She's always better off rear facing.
Okay.
But there is parental decision making there
Right.
at some point where eventually you have to turn them around for some reason. So.
Right.
But she could definitely stay rear facing.
Good to
until
know.
She would hit the
Interesting.
upper leg. And then the sitting in the front seat, 13. You should really stay in the back seat till you're a teenager.
Okay.
And people think that's crazy, but it's really all about that neck maturity and the spinal cord and the spinal column, and also that airbag on the passenger side. It has to fill a big space, and it comes out at 275 miles an hour. So if you can imagine, if anybody out there's been hit with an airbag, it's not the pillow that it shows in all of the slow motion things that you like gently fall into. It comes at you really fast, and kids can get bad neck injuries.
It's abrasive. Got it. We have a couple more questions and then it will be time to wrap up. When should you transition out of a halo swaddle sack? Baby sleeps super well with a swaddle, but is starting to show signs of being able to roll from back to front.
Yeah, so there's different research on this, really. We usually say that you probably shouldn't utilize the swaddle itself, so the wings where you have them Velcroed and really swaddled, too much over 4 months of age,
Okay.
4 to 5 months of age. And then certainly transition into the halo with the blanket sleepers where,
Got it. With the arms out, but
absolutely.
they're still cozy and swaddled feeling.
yeah,
I love those.
still taking the place of the loose blanket, which is what those were, all designed.
And the
about.
sizes go up to
Right.
toddler sizes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they're wonderful. Sounds good. Perfect. One last question: car seats in airplanes? Yes or no?
Yes, if they're approved for airplanes.
Okay.
So it'll say on the side of them, excuse me, if they're aircraft approved. So many are.
Yeah.
I don't look at that very closely.
Yeah.
The problem with not having a kid, because the airport won't tell you that you have to have one, is think about when you have bad turbulence. Can you hold your child if you hit bad turbulence? And if you can't, what's going to happen is they're now the one who's going to get hurt because they're flying around the car or the airplane. That's kind of
So if your car seat is not compliant for an airplane and you're traveling on an airplane,
They won't let you, the airplane will they look at them before
Okay.
you come on, and they won't let you actually install that seat in a
so
seat.
be
They'll
sure
check
to
it for
check
you.
that before.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're planning on, if you think you're going to be putting that in the seat and then the child sitting in that seat, you better check and make sure it's
Okay.
certified for that.
Wonderful. Really quick before we log off tonight, will you recap for us if anybody has any lingering questions? How can they get in contact with the experts here at the safety store?
Right.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of different ways. First off, they're welcome to call the safety store if they want, and that number is listed on our website, which actually is uichildrens.org/safety store, run all together. And then also we have an email that comes into us, and it's all run together, keeping kids safe. Makes sense, doesn't it? Keeping kids safe at uiowa.edu. But the best way to find all of that information is going to our website at uichildrens.org/safety store.
And
Perfect.
we will put that in the comments for you guys as well. And then if you asked a question and it was not answered, if we didn't see it scroll by, we will be sure to follow up. And if you have more questions, these lovely ladies and our team as well are going to be sure and follow up with the post. So keep them coming after we hop off too. Everybody's saying thank you, and
Thanks
that
for having us.
they're so grateful for you guys, which we are too.
And they can't
Absolutely.
wait to go get their car seats checked tomorrow.
Yeah,
for
tomorrow.
free. Yay.
Yes,
5
come
o'clock?
see us.
Wonderful.
5
Well, thank you all.
5 to
Yes,
7:30.
5
Right
to
in the parking
7:30.
lot, you'll be
Yep.
able to
Dodge
find us.
Street.
All
Perfect.
right. Thank you guys.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye. all.